ASEAN Highlight this week, we have the first part of our special coverage on regional connectivity. But first up, let's go to a story from Lao PDR. On Monday, the Secretary General of the Lao People's Revolutionary Party, Jumali Sayason, retained his position as the 9th Party Congress, which began on March 17, came to an end in a ceremony at the headquarters of the Party Central Committee in the capital Vientiane. Jumali will now lead the LPRP until the next Congress in 2016. According to KPL National News Agency, 576 delegates who represent more than 191,700 party members unanimously re-elected the party chief, as well as electing a new 61-member Central Committee at the 5-day-long Congress, paving way for political processes like the general election and the selection of cabinet after that. At this stage, the election is set for April 30th, where the voters throughout the country will choose 132 representatives from 190 pre-selected candidates to the National Assembly. Meanwhile, former Prime Minister Bouason Bupawan was one of the 3 members of the Politburo dropped by the delegates gathered at the 9th LPRP Congress in a move that some analysts describe as a power struggle between rival pro-Vietnam and pro-China bloc within the Lao ruling Communist Party. Lao expert Professor Martin Stuart Fox of the University of Queensland commented that it was internal power jockeying within the ruling party rather than foreign relations that forced the resignation of Bouason as Prime Minister 2 days before Christmas last year. It remains to be seen how recent political development will affect the future of the only landlocked country in Southeast Asia. As part of our special coverage on regional connectivity, we first visit the Golden Triangle, where we take a look at the Mekong River trade, which have in recent years been adversely impinged by the environmental changes that is occurring in Southeast Asia's largest river. The transformation of the areas around the confluence between the Ruok River and the Mekong, where Thailand, Myanmar and Lao PDR share their borders, is in itself a reflection of the journey made by this region since the end of the Cold War. Not so long ago, opium kings and warlords roamed what was essentially a lawless frontier. Trade, investment and economic connectivity has transformed the Golden Triangle, an area once notorious for its drug trafficking and illicit trade, and has now become a major tourist destination as well as a part of an important trade route between China and Southeast Asia. Tourist and commercial riverboats now frequent these waters as new roads, ports and transport networks gradually emerge from efforts made by governments in this region, along with notable partners like the Asian Development Bank, the government of Japan and the government of Australia, to name a few. The river ports of Chiang Saen, which was built in 1993, are one of the main transit points in the Mekong River trade, linking northern Thailand with China's Yunnan province, as well as northern Lao PDR and Shan State in Myanmar. Chinese steel riverboats, known locally as Huashuan or Zhihan, dominated the river trade, valued at 460 million yuan, or about $70 million annually, according to Thailand's National Economic and Social Development Board, or NESDB. Currently, there are about 118 of these river cargo boats in operation, mostly owned by the Chinese. Boats from China embarking from Jinghong would typically take a 3-day trip down the 380 kilometers long journey to Chiang Saen, where Yunnan's fruit and vegetables would be sold along the way. Thai workers at the port would then load goods like vegetable oils, rubber sheet, petrol and fruits, as well as other consumer products before the riverboats make a 3-day trip to the town of Guan Lei in Sihuan Ban Na, the main river port of Yunnan. During the dry season, which usually falls between January to April, the water level of the Mekong is only about 1.5 to 2 meters deep, making the weight limit of these boats at 80 tons. During this time, few boats would venture down the river, whereas in May to December period, when water levels of the river is usually deeper, many boats would dock here, where they can carry up to 150 tons of cargo back to China. A Chiang Saen dock worker who get paid around 200 to 300 baht a day told us that he, like many of his colleagues, only work at the dock part-time. In recent years, he has been noticing that the water level in the river has been receding, but said that he is not daunted by the prospect of losing the income from here if the river traffic became fewer.
ถ้าน้ำมันแห้งพวกผมก็จะไปประเภทก่อสร้างหรือว่าพวกทำงานก่อสร้างแถวบูรณะอะไรแถวตามเชียงแสนนี่แหละ
The prospect of fewer river traffic is real as many locals notice how the water level in the Mekong became more and more unpredictable. Some have blamed it on the operation of 4 dams in southern China, while others have pointed out that the increase in construction in the area to accommodate more economic activities have severely eroded the banks of the Mekong in many places, making the river harder to navigate and more shallow. This damaging environmental impact is an immediate challenge that regional governments and relevant stakeholders should work out a way to properly address. As regional officials are gathering this weekend at the Mekong River Commission meeting in Sihanoukville, Cambodia, the environmental transformation of the Mekong River should be one of the main factors taken into their consideration and collectively addressed before they approve the building of more dams along the river as intended. The price of progress made here in the last 2 decades should not be as high as the disappearing of the livelihood of future generations who are going to be living along the Mekong River. I'm Panu Wongcha-um of Thai News Agency, reporting for ASEAN TV from the Golden Triangle. Our special coverage on ASEAN connectivity will continue next week. We wrap things up this week with a story from the Dhurakij Pundit University in Bangkok. On Friday, Dhurakij Pundit University, a Thai private college in Bangkok, unveiled a new center called the ASEAN Community Preparation Centre or ACPC, dedicated to preparing the university students for the formation of the ASEAN community by the year 2015, particularly in increasing their competitiveness in various regional job markets. A keynote speech for the event was given by ASEAN Chief Dr. Pundit Suwan. Among the subjects that will be offered by the unveiling of this new center includes Bahasa Indonesia and ASEAN laws. Dr. Dhurakij Samko said, insisted that one of the essential roles that the center intends to play is to inspire the university students and staff and cultivate their understanding and awareness about the Southeast Asian region.
We think that in Thailand we only have what they call the ASEAN Institute. We don't have any particular purpose of stimulating interest or being ready for the coming of the ASEAN community in 2015. So we set this center up, we call ASEAN Preparation Centre, so that we can make greater awareness among the society and people center, and people section and the government as well, to stimulate and to provide services and training. We hope that Thai people will be aware of the coming ASEAN community in 2015.
If all things goes according to plan, 4 years from now, the region job markets in many sectors will be fully integrated, meaning that university graduates in an ASEAN country can seek employment in another ASEAN country without any barriers, and centers like the one Dhurakij Pundit has launched serve as a timely point of departure towards getting fresh young minds ready for this borderless region in the near future. At the unveiling of ACPC, we also had a chance to call up with Dr. Pundit Suwan, who revealed to us that ASEAN connectivity to the world will receive further boost this year. This involved external ties being enhanced with existing dialogue partners as well as new partners like Russia, the United States and the G20.
So the whole world is going to be looking at ASEAN, following what's happening in ASEAN. Therefore, 600 million people of ASEAN, 10 countries of ASEAN will have to be very much aware that the world is watching, that we have to deliver, that we have to open up for each other, that we have to invest in each other and make sure that we can compete with the rest of the world as a group.
Working and thinking as a group will enable 10 ASEAN nations to better consolidate themselves and at the same time bring the region closer to being part of the global community of nations. And that's it for this edition of ASEAN Highlight this week. On behalf of our news team here, I hope you all have a lovely weekend and Sawasdee krab.